Hi guys, a viewer wants to know, when are we going to start talking about animism? If you have that question too, stay tuned and I'll tell you. Hi, it's Laura Giles. Thanks for joining me today. So I suppose technically we don't really talk about animism. That's true. What we talk about is how animism shows up. So animism is not the what, and what you're doing doesn't make you animist or not animist. Animist is a belief that everything is alive, conscious, connected, and one. And so there's not a whole lot to say about that, really. But I think the important piece is, how does that show up in your life? So animism is your why, and then what we're doing is talking about your what. So when we're talking about the wheel of life, because universal law is as within, so without, then we're looking to nature, to what are you doing, nature? How are you doing this, nature, to show us how to live. So that in that way we're connecting. Or if we're talking about making natural medicines, it's because everything has an essence, it's alive, and how to use that essence in order to heal yourself. So if we're talking about the ancestors, it's an acknowledgement that the ancestors continue to have an effect in our lives, that they're still with us, and how we participate with that. So there's nothing that you really have to do. You can do it in a way that's authentic to you. So if the way that it shows up for you is that you think that eating animals is cruel and you practice vegetarianism or veganism for that purpose, then that's fantastic. If what it means is that you do rituals, great. If it means that you practice, free-range parenting. I mean, it could be anything, really. If it means that you anything, whatever you do, if that's your why, if your belief that everything is alive, connected, in one is your why, then you're practicing animism. So we're really giving you kind of ideas on how to make it your own. Another way that you can look at it is, and I hope everybody's doing this, is that you're living through your values. So what is it that you value? And then you kind of bring that through the animist paradigm. So for me, one thing that's really super important, sovereignty, connection, and oneness is the pathway. So honesty and authenticity are really, really important. Integrity is really important. So I'm always going to be upfront and honest and transparent with people. I hope people do that for me as well. That is a reflection of my belief in animism, because I believe, and there's science to support this, that everything is knowable. So if everything is knowable, then there's really no point in lying, because at some level of our being, we all know the truth. So it's kind of a waste of time to pretend that something else is going on. So I'm going to tell you the truth. That's one of my values. I believe in reciprocity. I believe that everything is here and interacting with each other to allow life to unfold. So for me, I'm eating something that's animate, whether it's a plant or an animal. It has a life force, and it's sacrificing its life so that I can live. So I'm going to give gratitude to that thing. And then when I die, I'm not going to be embalmed, because I want my body to give back to the earth. I'm going to be food for worms and for fungi, and it's going to break down and return all my nutrients to the soil, which is going to come back in plants, which the animals eat. And so it just keeps cycling on and on and on. So really, that's what animism is about. It's about living in this web in a way of integrity, and with the knowledge that your life is influencing other lives, their lives are influencing you, and how are we going to do that in a way that is harmonious and good? And if I make a mistake, then I take responsibility. So that's another one of my values, is responsibility, and that's a reflection of sovereignty too. That's being a good warrior. If I do something wrong, then I'm going to make amends. I'm going to fix it. so that the energy that I put back is going to have a greater benefit than what I took out. So we are talking about animism. It just might not be in the traditional religious sense. It might not be, I know some people think of it as, tribal cultures, indigenous cultures, but Pan Society is about now. It's about here. We're modern animism, and none of us are going back to the Stone Age. None of us are going to engage in human sacrifice. We're not going to do a lot of the things that our ancestors did, and so it's a new way of practicing this belief. And in order to be healthy and sustainable, spirituality has to evolve as culture evolves and as people evolve. So we're kind of just the new evolution of that. And I hope that makes more sense to you, it gives you a foundation and some boundaries around what's happening, and helps to make everything that we've said thus far more useful. So what I would suggest now is to go back, look at the other videos that interest you, and see it through that lens and see if it makes more sense. I love the conversation. Please join us on Facebook so that we can have a dialogue. You can also leave comments down below. I do thank you so much for tuning in. Keep those questions coming. They are really, really useful. Thanks. Bye-bye.